I love reggaeton, like
Yep.
J Balvin, Bad Bunny, stuff like that. So I actually can salsa, merengue, bachata, all that. I could do all that stuff. So.
Oh, now you got my wife's attention here. I'm not going to ask you for any moves. All right, let's do this. We got Bon Henry all the way from Chi-Town, Chicago, Illinois. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us, our 50th episode with Bandwagon TV's Joyride. We're a little fancy today. Yep, 5-0. We got, I know you can't see it, but you even got dressed up for the occasion. We really,
Yes,
look at that red bow tie. Short notice, but man, you really just like all of a sudden you pick up the bow tie, you have it on. I slick back my hair, I'm looking all good and fancy. Bon Henry, I was really looking forward to this, and I look forward to all of them. But for you, you're posting already, little like teasers and things like that, being part of our show as a guest. I want you to tell our audience a little bit about yourself. We kind of, before the interview, went into your family history, but tell us who you are, where you're from, a little bit about your musical influences.
Yeah, so I'm Bon Henry. Right now, I'm based out of Chicago. It's where I grew up. My entire family is from the South. Father was a country musician. He's from Tennessee. He grew up in Chattanooga. My grandmother's from Mississippi. My grandfather's from Missouri. My grandmother was a songwriter. She used to sell songs back in, way back in the day. And my dad played country music down in Nashville for a very long time. And, so he just passed it on to me. And I really just grew up listening to my dad singing old country songs. I'm in Chicago. So obviously, I listen to a lot of blues music. My mom loved blues. So if you listen to my music, you'll see a lot of my guitar playing is basically mixing blues and country together, which they're essentially, the chord structures are exactly the same, but blues is just more pentatonic. That's kind of where I started out, was just playing, chords and trying to strum and sing. And I think my biggest musical influence has to be Johnny Cash. I mean, like I said earlier, when I was a kid, all I was allowed to listen to, I shouldn't say allowed, but all my dad would put on was Johnny Cash or oldies, and so I grew up listening to Johnny Cash, Merle Haggard, Hank Williams, stuff like that. And really, that's kind of my return to what I grew up listening to and what I did best, as a singer and songwriter, was just really writing. I wanted to write songs that were stories. And that's what I loved about Johnny Cash, is every song's like a story. And I think that's what I want to bring back, is like, you listen to these songs and you gain something out of them. You want to, everything that I've written, there's some story behind it if you listen to it.
I wanted to talk to you about, obviously you just explained a little bit about your influences, but describing your music, could you do that? It's very unique. Like you said, you do have this blues sound. I noticed a sticker too. You got the Blues Brothers, so obviously that's a big influence. But and I guess in the music scene in Chicago, how has that been?
Yeah, Chicago has like a very I don't know. Chicago's music scene, it's strange. I used to play shows I'd get on a band, like a bill for a band, and one band's a punk rock band, one band's a gospel band. One band's a country band, one band's a blues band. So there's no, when you go to Nashville, you go down on Broadway and everyone's pretty much playing country. Here, you go into a venue and it could say the headliner's a country band, but the first three people could be electronic. It's crazy. There really is no rhyme or reason to when they book stuff here.
That's what I wanted to really say, is it just has this eclectic taste of this bunch of variety. And being a country musician, and I see, with your new music, you're having a lot more country influences, is just that it's just rare. I haven't seen a lot of country artists coming out of Chicago.
Yeah, they're actually now, I think now more than ever, there is a resurgence here of country music. There was really only one country bar in Chicago for as long as I can remember. And my uncles and my dad told me it was called Carol's, which they've just reopened. It is one of the bars, I believe it was in the Blues Brothers, where they threw the bottles at the chicken wire. That was like a real place here.
Really?
Yeah, that was a real country bar in Chicago. And so that was for real. That's how it was back then. It was like, a lot of people don't know that a lot of people from the South, actually, like in Uptown here in Chicago, that was an entirely the whole area was essentially transplants from, like I said, Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, places like that, Alabama, Louisiana, just because there was so much more work here. People were moving up here, and that was pretty much the area where they all settled, was Uptown, and that's where my family was from.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you're able to share with us, and I'm excited to share your music because it's, like I said, unique. You got this unique voice and style, so it's exciting just to have you on. So I appreciate your time, Bond, and especially with a name like that. I'm on a mission here. We are driving through the city, but I got to pull over because we are about to get into the lightning round. Are you ready, my friend?
I'm ready.
All right, Bond Henry. Here we go. We're going to pull over. And before we get into the lightning round, with every episode, we promote local businesses, and I wanted to mention your guitar really quick, and if you can show that to our audience. I just noticed a couple businesses that I'm familiar with, and they're not like big name corporate names, but you got Ron John Surf Shop, you got Mission Barbecue out of, I think they're out of Baltimore, Maryland, out of at least the Atlantic area. You got like the Blues Brothers. Like, when did that start with all those stickers?
So this all started, let me see if I can find the original sticker on here. I'll show it to you. The original sticker is actually this Sublime sticker and this sticker and this sticker. What it all started was I was recording my first EP. My uncle had a friend that owned a recording studio out in the west suburbs, and we were waiting. My uncle was recording some promos. He was doing a commercial pitch for Budweiser. He had written all these commercials. He was taking these old videos from like Roy Orbison, stuff like that, and he was changing the like Only the Lonely to like Only Budweiser. Like, he had this whole thing, and he had about 10 of them. So he was in the recording studio and he was recording that, and he told his friend, like, give them an hour, and we were going to record 5 songs live. And of course we were practicing, and I ended up breaking some strings on my guitar, and so did my cousin. And so my mom ran to Guitar Center, and she bought these strings for me, and she came back with like 5 stickers that were just sitting there at Guitar Center. And I just grabbed them, and then I just said, well, I just put them on the guitar. And then I just started putting them on every time I would travel somewhere, every time I would get something new. Like, you could see I got Neuschwanstein Castle here. Just whatever people would give me stickers, I just put them on here, and now the whole thing's covered in them.
Yeah, I love it. And it's a great sounding guitar. I got a preview of it earlier. So do you got a local business that you want to promote with us today?
Yeah, let me promote the place where I record, Gravel Road Recordings in Chicago. You could look them up online, and if you're anywhere, even in the United States, look him up. And he does really great work, mastering, producing. If you're a songwriter, singer out there and you need somebody to do it, and he's very reasonable, very flexible, but very, he's one of the best in the area. He's a former touring musician. That's one of the businesses. And I would like to promote the Emerald Isle and the Royal Grocery in Chicago, who is doing live music. They're bringing back country live music here. And so, yeah, if you're in the area, go check them out so we could get these venues back open and get people playing again.
Yeah, we need that, especially in Chicago. I know it's been tough up there, a tough scene, but I'm so glad that you had to say that a lot of these businesses hopefully are opening, and performance and live performance is crucial, I think, with the music scene. So thank you for sharing. We got our local barbecue restaurant, and hopefully one day, if you haven't already, Bond, is try our Texas barbecue here in the Hill Country. But we have Young's Barbecue and More. It's fantastic. They're known for their barbecue burrito, wonderful family. But you can definitely check them out, their story, a little bit about who they are on our website, bandwagontv.com. That's bandwagontv.com. Also check out past guests and episodes. But we are now approaching the lightning round. I hear the rumble, and that actually might be a motorcycle outside, but it kind of sounds like it's thundering and lightning. All right, here we go. So you got originals, but you do great covers of these fantastic famous songs. But 2 of them caught my attention, and I wanted to ask your favorite cover out of these 2 to perform, because they're so unique and I guess memorable. We have Zombie by the Cranberries or Wicked Game by Chris Isaak. If there's one cover, which cover are you performing with us today?
I would probably do Wicked Game. Yeah, that's kind of a song that I like, one of my signature cover songs that I used to do back, when I was playing 3 or 4 nights a week. And, people just loved it. They would come up to me after the show and be like, oh my God, I loved it. And I'm like, oh, thanks. That's one of the ones that most people would come up to me and just say like, wow, like that was good, because it's a hard song to sing. And so I don't think most people expect you to be able to really sing it. So
it's very tough. That's why I want to bring it up.
yeah, not that Zombie's just as hard though. I mean, her voice was incredible. So I mean, it's a tough one, but I think I'd go with Wicked Game.
Yeah, I think you just like performing it because you know that you're seducing the audience, just like Chris Isaak did back in the day.
Strange world desire make foolish people do.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Anyways, it got me, man. You seduced me. That's why I had to bring it up. I'm like, this guy. All right. You're a sports fan. I can tell by the hat. You're, living in Chicago, so whether you like South Side or the North Side. But I gotta ask, Chicago Cubs or the Chicago Bears? Who do you got?
I gotta go Chicago Cubs all day. I was actually at the World Series. I spent, I think I emptied out my bank account to go see that. So I was there the game that they won at Game 7 in Cleveland.
Oh, wow. Were you really?
Yes, I was. It was amazing. I mean, like I said, I spent every dollar I had to go. So I just had to do it, and like I said, my family grew up in Uptown. So, that's 5 minutes from Wrigley Field. And that's pretty much where everybody was diehard Cubs fans forever.
All right. Do us a favor. Can you just really quick, maybe a glimpse of the song that you all sing when you're all winning?
The Go Cubs Go.
Go Cubs Go. Oh, yeah.
Go Cubs Go. Go Cubs Go. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? Cubs are gonna win today. That one?
Oh, I love it. I'm not a Cubs fan, but a good friend is, and I have to appreciate Chicago Cub fans. I mean, I'm glad that you finally won, but just I love that atmosphere at Wrigley Field. If you haven't been, you have to go. It's iconic.
Well, here's a quick tidbit.
What's up?
The guy that wrote Go Cubs Go also wrote David Allan Coe's hit "You Never Call Me by My Name," just in case nobody knew that. Steve Goodman wrote both songs.
I didn't. That's amazing. That's a trivia question right there. All right, so now, Bond, you're behind the wheel of the White Lightning. I think you're trying to get through Chicago traffic here. You need a co-pilot, though, because you're going coast to coast, musician, dead or alive. Who do you got as a co-pilot?
I thought about this question, and my initial reaction, I was going to say, was Johnny Cash. But you know what? I think I want to go with Sturgill Simpson. I think him and I would, I think we'd have a pretty good time rocking out.
Why is that? Sturgill, we're getting a lot of Sturgill and Tyler Childers influences lately. And I think maybe that's a scene. It's more independent. They're kind of free-spirited musicians. What is about Sturgill that that grabs your attention?
Well, I think what I liked about Sturgill Simpson is obviously his music is really good. I love the songwriting. He's in such a different headspace than a lot of these people are than the country music today. I mean, he's writing songs about DMT and dissolving your ego, stuff that I'm very interested in, psychology stuff, and one of the things I love about him is that he was, he had a good job. He was a union worker, and he basically just said, nah, I gotta play music. I gotta get out of this. And I'm kind of, I was a very similar situation. I just was like, and I think him and I, we both have that mindset, and I think that we'd have some really interesting conversations just about a lot of stuff,
Yeah, it's very cool. Deep thinkers. I would, I'm sure that's why you just said it. Great for an open road. I mean, I can't imagine the type of conversations that would come up. Well, now Sturgill, he's going through your phone. He's looking at a playlist. Is there a song, a musician, a band that would surprise him or us, or even maybe embarrass you?
Well, one of my favorite songs is Miley Cyrus "Party in the USA." I got a pretty good wedding dance to that song. So, but I think you might be surprised to find out that I love to listen to like Spanish music.
Yeah. Okay. Like
I love reggaeton, like J Balvin, Bad Bunny, stuff like that. When I was studying, I got my bachelor's in science, and when I would study for tests, I would just sit there and listen to that on end, and I love it. I love the dancing. I love doing everything about it. It's where I grew up doing that kind of stuff. I actually stood up in a cotillion when I was 15 years old. So I actually can salsa, merengue, bachata, all that. I could do all that stuff. So.
Oh, now you got my wife's attention here. I'm not gonna ask you for any moves because we're in a moving vehicle, but we might see that later in one of our clips. That's amazing. You're the first person to say reggaeton. I love it. J Balvin. I'm a big Maluma. That's my man.
Maluma, yeah.
I love that dude. All right.
I love their music. It's just awesome.
It's fun. We need it. All right. Hey, Bon, that was fantastic. Appreciate the lightning round, but this is now on you. You said you got some new music that's coming out. What do we got to look forward to out of the Bon Henry camp?
So right now I'm actually going to be finishing up a song called Where the Road Is, and that's going to be part of a 6-song EP that I'm working on right now. And that's going to be, the focus is going to be stripping it down to what I think is going to be a really good raw country bluegrass album. It's going to be just very minimal guitars. I'm going to have some dobro. I actually found a dobro player online who's a pretty famous guy, and I sent him some of my tracks. He's gonna throw down on that. I got a violin player, and I think this is gonna be something different from me, because like What's Your Name, if you listen to the recorded version, it's a little bit more rock, southern rock kind of feel to it. But I think this song, like I had said earlier, this song is gonna be stories. I wrote this whole album about my dad, who, when you listen to the album, you'll kind of get a glimpse of his life and kind of what an incredible life he led. He went from being in an orphanage in Tennessee to, ascending to the things that he's done. And I think that, like I said, one of my favorite songwriters, Johnny Cash, and I want to tell the story of his life through an album, essentially. And I think that's going to do it. And I think people are going to be really shocked by it. And I think they're going to be like, wow, this is something.
Wow. That sounds amazing. I love it. And What's Your Name? When did you release that?
Yeah, I released that song about 2 months ago, I'd say. And it's funny, that's actually one of the first songs that I ever wrote. And I wrote that song when I was like 21, but I didn't release it for 15, 14 years or whatever, I don't even know how old I am. I just held on to it in my back pocket because I went to the studio like 4 times, and I just never got it right. And I don't release anything unless I'm like, this is it. I have a ton of songs I've recorded that I'm sitting on them. I didn't like what they turned out as, but that one, I finally got it right, I thought. And that's, I was happy with it. Like I said, it's going to be a little departure from that, but I think this next album is going to I hope this next album hits people the way people, when they first heard, like you were talking about Sturgill Simpson and Tyler Childers. I think that when it's done, that's going to have that effect on people. I think they're going to be like, they're really going to be impressed by it, because it's going to be a very personal album. And like I said, I'm going to get back to the country Chattanooga style, and I think it's going to be something
very cool. Back to the basics. Well, hey, so now you have this new music. What's Your Name is fantastic. I want our audience to listen. How do we follow you? How do we listen to you?
Check me out at Bon Henry Music on Instagram, YouTube, Bon Henry Music. Everything's pretty much Bon Henry Music on Spotify, Amazon, every streaming platform. Yeah. And then also I'm going to continue doing my cover song videos, as many as I can. That was a big thing that I used to do back in the day, and I want to continue that. And so just look me up, Bon Henry, everywhere. You type it in, you'll see my logo, see the beard. Yeah, you'll know it's me.
No, it's a great logo too. All right, well, hey Bon, it's been a pleasure. Unfortunately, we have to drop you off, but I will say this: I've appreciated this interview so much. Being in Chicago, I'm going to drop you off in Wrigleyville, because I know that maybe then you'll be with your own and you'll have a great time. So just do me a favor, tell Bias to stop swinging on strike. He has so many damn strikeouts. But before we kick you out, we need a song. Are you going to be able to play us a song for us today?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Spied you from across the room. Got 'em moving close, baby. Trying to get a better view. Caught me staring. I wasn't ashamed. I had something else to say. What's your name, girl? Where you from? Where you going? Can I come? What's your games, girl? Where you run? Take me somewhere nobody else can come. See you smiling in a desert moonlight. You remind me of everything that's right. And I'm sorry, stole a kiss tonight, but you're just so perfect. Tell me how I wanna be polite. I'm like, what's your name, girl? Where you from? Where you going? Baby, can I come? What's your games, girl? Where we run? Take me somewhere nobody else can come. Most people waste their whole damn lives thinking about little moment with you tonight. Most people, they waste their whole damn life. So I'ma tell you, girl, I'ma hold you tight. What's your name, girl? Where you from? Where you going? Baby, can I come? What's your game, girl? Where we run? Take me somewhere nobody else can come. What's your name, girl? Where you from? Where you going? Baby, can I come? What's your game, girl? Where we'll run? You take me somewhere nobody else can come.
There you go. That's What's Your Name? Bon Henry. Fantastic. You gotta go follow him, and we're all looking forward to your new stuff. I mean, you're, like I said, back to the basics, back to country. Thank you again for sharing your story with us. And Chicago.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Your lucky day. Oh yeah, you might take a picture, love, 'cause this could be our lucky day.